Shaquille O'Neal said aloud what many people had already been thinking, and he chose to do it on national television. LeBron James did not brush it off. According to multiple insiders, LeBron was reportedly furious behind closed doors. What followed was far more complicated and chaotic than most expected. The aftermath quickly spiraled, and the situation became messy in ways few anticipated. Every detail of that fallout matters, so let's unpack it carefully from the beginning. In early July of 2024, Shaquille O'Neal addressed the growing criticism surrounding Bronny James during an episode of The Big Podcast with Shaq. At the time, the Los Angeles Lakers had just selected Bronny with the 55th overall pick in the 2024 NBA draft. Almost immediately, public discourse turned hostile. Critics accused the Lakers of blatant nepotism. Many questioned whether Bronny truly belonged in the NBA at all. Sports debate shows devoted entire segments to arguing whether the selection was earned through merit or handed to him because of his last name. Social media erupted with opinions from every conceivable angle. Shaq responded by taking a clear defensive stance. When asked which young player deserved relief from relentless scrutiny, he chose Bronny without hesitation. He publicly stated that the criticism needed to stop, referring to Bronny as his nephew and emphasizing that Bronny was still a kid who simply wanted to play basketball. Shaq pointed out how unfortunate it was for children like theirs, who are forced to live under the shadow of what their famous parents accomplished before them. The word nephew carried real significance. Shaq has repeatedly used that term to emphasize the close, family-like bond between the O'Neal and James households. Bronny James and Shaquille O'Neal grew up together. They played basketball together at Shaq's home during summers and holidays. Their families vacationed together and regularly attended one another's games. When Shaq spoke about Bronny, he did so not as a distant media personality chasing headlines, but as someone who had watched him mature from childhood into adulthood. The bond between the children naturally created a deeper connection between the parents that went far beyond professional respect. LeBron James and Shaquille O'Neal were teammates on the Cleveland Cavaliers during the 2009-2010 NBA season. That shared experience, combined with their children's friendship, forged a relationship that has lasted for more than 15 years. Shaq witnessed Bronny's basketball development firsthand, starting from elementary school. He observed the work ethic up close and understood the immense pressure that comes with carrying one of the most recognizable names in sports. Shaq continued to argue for patience and fair evaluation. He expressed hope that Bronny would ultimately earn his place on his own terms. He explained that it would be damaging if people believed Bronny only made it because of his father, emphasizing that young athletes want to succeed independently and define themselves separate from their parents. This perspective reflected Shaq's deep understanding of what motivates athletes in Bronny's position. Shaq has seen this struggle play out within his own family. His sons, Shaquille and Shaq O'Neal, have spent their entire basketball journeys being measured against their father's legendary achievements. Every performance, every statistic, and every mistake has been compared to Shaq's 4 NBA championships and 3 Finals MVP awards. The pressure is constant and unavoidable. In another appearance, Shaq expanded on his defense by pulling directly from personal experience. He referenced the challenges his own son Shaquille faced, including serious health issues and the burden of a legendary surname. Shaq reiterated that Bronny was like a nephew to him and expressed genuine happiness for his opportunity. He acknowledged that there were many narratives, both positive and negative, surrounding Bronny, but ultimately said he just wanted everything to go well. Shaq emphasized that his primary desire, like any parent, was simply for young athletes to be happy. Shaq then drew a direct comparison between Bronny and Shaquille. Both young men faced serious medical conditions that could have ended their basketball careers entirely. Bronny suffered cardiac arrest during a USC workout in July 2023. Shaquille underwent open-heart surgery in 2018 to correct an anomalous coronary artery. In both cases, their lives were threatened, not just their playing careers. Both carried famous last names, and both were scrutinized against unrealistic standards established by their fathers. Shaq became visibly reflective when discussing the pressure these young men endure. He explained that kids in their position face enormous expectations simply because of their last names. They rarely get the freedom to choose their own paths without comparison. No matter what they do, they are always measured against their father's legacies. This reality sits at the core of what makes Bronny's situation uniquely difficult. Every basketball decision Bronny makes is filtered through the lens of LeBron's career. At 19 years old, LeBron James was already an NBA All-Star averaging more than 20 points per game. Whether fair or not, that becomes the benchmark applied to Bronny. What critics often ignore is that LeBron was a generational anomaly, a once-in-a-decade athlete who entered the league as one of the most hyped prospects in basketball history. Bronny's journey was never going to mirror that path. By September 2024, Shaq appeared on the OG's podcast with Udonis Haslem and Mike Miller, where he dismissed nepotism narratives outright. He said he hated the nepotism discussion because, in his view, it no longer mattered. Bronny was in the league. Shaq also emphasized the importance of maintaining the positive relationship between the James and O'Neal families, stating that he would never say anything publicly that could damage the bond between their children. This revealed Shaq's priorities clearly. Preserving family relationships mattered more than creating controversy. In mid-October 2024, during another episode of The Big Podcast with Shaq, O'Neal admitted that he felt a degree of professional jealousy regarding LeBron and Bronny becoming the first father-son duo to play together in the NBA. He explained that professional jealousy often motivates him, transforming envy into personal drive. Shaq acknowledged that his son Sharif had once been on a similar trajectory toward the NBA, but circumstances ultimately prevented it. He said he valued titles and milestones and admitted he would have loved to claim that father-son distinction first. This sense of jealousy stemmed from regret over never sharing the court with Sharif or Shaquille, whose basketball paths did not align with Shaq's playing timeline. Shaq retired in 2011, while his sons were still years away from being NBA ready. The timing simply never worked. Despite those feelings, Shaq's tone remained overwhelmingly supportive. He repeatedly referred to Bronny as family, expressed happiness for LeBron and Bronny, and predicted their on-court moments would be more playful than competitive. His jealousy was rooted in personal longing, not bitterness. While Shaq defended Bronny, others in sports media took a far harsher approach. Stephen A. Smith, ESPN's most prominent analyst, adopted a critical stance toward Bronny's NBA exposure,